Looking at this modern Moscow skyline at dusk, you see a corporate arena built on strict financial ambition. In the cinematic universe of Cinderella.ru, the ancient magical rules of fairy tales have been replaced by the cold logic of high-stakes capitalism. We see this immediately with our inciting incident. A small-town singer named Andrey explicitly dumps his fiancée, Natasha. He doesn't do it out of a lack of affection, but because a long-term relationship with a local girl no longer fits his business model. Andrey is trading his impending marriage for a highly specific return on investment. A producer has offered him a $100 million contract, and Andrey calculates his exact yield: luxury cars, private jets, and a picturesque villa in Sicily, much like the one we see here. The rules of this world are established right away. Human connection is treated as a highly liquid asset, instantly discarded the moment a higher financial bid is placed on the table. Curious, Natasha's reaction to getting dumped ignores standard grieving. Instead, she enters the literal marriage market. She secures a $1,500 loan from a friend to buy direct access to a Moscow agency that matches provincial girls with millionaires. At the exact same time, two wealthy Greek patriarchs, Georgi and Socrates, are aggressively enforcing an arranged marriage between their children, Sunny and Aphrodite. Visualize this arrangement like a ledger. This forced union is the delayed repayment of a 25-year-old loan Georgi took from Socrates. Watch how the names Sunny and Aphrodite are stamped as final payment. The children are converted into human collateral, stripped of personal autonomy. Every major character starts the film trapped in a rigid transactional web. As long as these contracts govern their behavior, genuine romance is impossible. The system has to break. For these characters to find a connection, they first have to be stripped of their financial leverage. The film accomplishes this by destroying their net worth. Natasha's experience is the most sudden. Upon arriving in Moscow, the director of the marriage agency robs her of her $1,500. In a matter of seconds, she is left with nothing. This financial ruin forces her out of the commodified millionaire market. With no capital to her name, she enters the working class, taking a job as a waitress in a local cafe to survive. Contrast this with Alex. He is an actual millionaire who voluntarily sheds his wealth and status, seeking an escape from the suffocating expectations and relentless transactions of his social class. Alex adopts the disguise of a low-wage worker and ends up taking a job as a waiter in the exact same cafe as Natasha. By isolating them here, the cafe functions as a financial vacuum. It is the only space in the film where these characters are forced to interact without the safety net of monetary leverage or ulterior motives. Meanwhile, the older generation's transactional economy is nearing default. The Greek father's arranged marriage contract is on the brink of collapse. Rather than pay his father's debt with his own life, Sunny simply escapes his contractual obligation. He abandons his car right here at the Sheremetyevo airport terminal and flees the country. But the family avoids the father's wrath because Aphrodite and Sunny's brother, Theo, find a clever bureaucratic loophole. The original verbal contract simply demanded that an Anonisus marry a Papandopoulos. By marrying each other in secret, Theo and Aphrodite technically fulfill the terms of the agreement, satisfying the historical debt while actually marrying for love. The older generation uses contracts as tools of control. The younger generation secures their freedom by weaponizing the exact letter of those very same contracts. This brings us to the climax at Andrey's hometown concert. When Andrey brings Natasha on stage and publicly proposes to her, he is attempting a hostile buyback of her affection. Listen to his specific pitch. He doesn't rely on their shared history. He uses his newly acquired fame and the explicit promise of a free flat from his music producer as his primary currency to win her over. The transaction fails. Natasha rejects the offer. She refuses the flat, the fame, and the proposal because she has outgrown the transactional economy that defined her past. Andrey's failure signals that in this story, capital and status are no longer valid currency for a narrative reward. There is one final complication to navigate. Alex drops his disguise as a waiter and reveals his true identity to Natasha. He is the millionaire Aleksandr Papandopoulos. Looking at this imposing tower of Moscow State University, the reality of Alex's secret life becomes clear. It is a symbol of an elite world that Natasha has no part in. For her, this revelation turns their shared time in the cafe into another transaction built on a lie, emphasizing the vast social distance between a librarian and an MSU-educated millionaire. But she ultimately forgives the deception. She accepts Alex not because he holds a massive bank account, but because their foundational bond was thoroughly stress-tested while they were both living as low-wage workers. Cinderella.ru subverts its own title. In a world obsessed with debt, leverage, and contracts, the true fairy tale is only earned by those willing to walk away from the cash.